Hi guys, I'm Shmi. Hello and welcome back to the channel. We're straight after being in California. We are back in Germany here at the garage of Saugmotoren, where I came to visit 2 years ago because this was a huge inspiration for the Schmuseum. We're going to have a look around shortly, but the guys have kindly been looking after the SLS AMG Black Series while we were gone over in Monterey for Car Week. Well, straight after the 11-hour overnight flight back to Germany, we've popped straight over here for an 11-hour drive now back to the UK, non-stop, always on the move. But do you know what? When it comes to driving long distances in my dream car, the SLS Black Series, I have no problems with that. And talking about dream cars, you could win your dream car with BOTB. More on that in a moment. For the time being, let's have a quick look around. There are some very standout things here to show you. Then it'll be time to play a bit of Tetris, loading up the SLS to get on the road to get back home. What do we have here then? The private garage of Saugmotoren, where I came to visit about 2 years ago, a full year before I even got the keys to the Schmuseum. But this was a huge influence on what I would go on to do, as you can see, having a mezzanine for the view over the cars, the way the cars are displayed, basically taking a space and turning it into a private garage. They've kindly been looking after the SLS Black Series, tucked in just over here, after we drove over, well, about 2 weeks ago, stopped at the Nürburgring, drove down to Milan in Italy, and came back up to Germany in time for the AMG 1 drive before parking the car up to quickly hop over to the US to make it to Quail and all of the activities of Car Week. But let's have a quick look around because there are a few things I'd like to point out. We saw the GT3RS 4-litre before, we also saw the Carrera GT, but this is a new addition, the 997 Cup car, except with a difference because this has been made highly bespoke in many ways, is often driven on the track as well. We have the 812 Superfast, a big favourite of mine as you know. You'll possibly also spot this is riding a little lower because it has paid a visit to Novatec, which means it will also sound fabulous. I want to mention this, the Opel Manta 400, because I know there's quite a cult following for these. Very rare, but about 1,000 kilos with 270 or so horsepower, revs to over 9,000 RPM. A lot of fun. Plus, this is a new addition, the Dallara Stradale in the full green carbon fibre, epic looking thing. In fact, with the Stradale from Dallara, you actually have a few different options. You can have the car with just the windshield, you can have the T-bar over the top, you can have the door parts if you'd like, or you can have it like this, completely open, which is the ultimate in driving experience. I love things like this, the engine coffee table, having that half BMW for the sofa right there. We've got the Speciale, the GT3RS. That was a very early 991.2 Weissach package, which means pre-OPF with Weissach, which is quite rare. We've got the M3, which is actually an E46 M3 manual CSL styled, which is kind of cool as well. We've got the M3 CS. Lots of very nice cars in this garage. Plus, I quite like what's going on here as well, which I've talked a little bit about in terms of my garage. But when it comes to the SLS Black Series, we've got some luggage that we need to fit in, and it's not the most practical large luggage space in the world. In here, as you can see, we've got a few things there already. We're going to get all of that in. We've obviously got the C-Tech. It's been sitting on that to make sure the battery is fully charged up and ready to go. This is going to be a challenge. Let's see how it goes before we'll be setting off for this journey to begin. Mission success. Everything is in the car, so we can close that up for the moment. And the fun thing with the SLS doors is that even when you have a tiny gap like this, because of the gull wings, no issues, opens up fine. And now we can have a bit of a cold start, which is always going to sound fabulous. So let me press the button. 3, 2, 1. I don't think many sane people would plan a travel schedule like this. We left our hotel in Long Beach, Los Angeles yesterday around lunchtime, late checkout, went to LAX, had the 11-hour overnight flight to Frankfurt, a Lufthansa 747, which was very nice. Always fun to fly on a 747 before there are no longer any left in the skies. Landed, had a quick shower at the Welcome Lounge, which was certainly appreciated. Popped to Saugmotoren, picked up this car. We now have 5.5 hours to the French side of the Eurotunnel in Calais, and then obviously the crossing under the ocean, under the channel I should say, and then the last 2 hours or so into London on a very long day. Add in some stops and it will be about 10 or 11 hours on the road. So straight off an 11-hour flight, literally into basically an 11-hour drive. which is madness. But I tell you what, it made it possible, travel logistics wise, to drive the AMG 1. And I have no regrets. If you've seen my video of my driving the AMG 1, that was one of the coolest things ever. And to have gone there with the SLS Black Series, to now be driving in the SLS Black Series, having actually just done the journey down the PCH, down Pacific Coast Highway, in the CLK63 Black Series, the missing Black Series from my collection, is also quite fun, although I get back into this and I just instantly love this thing. The comfort, the feel, this massive bonnet out in front of us. As I said, literally dream car stuff. It's an epic, epic thing. It's such a wonderful, wonderful car. And it's also perfect for a journey like this. I know we're just chilling at 100 kilometers an hour now, but at some point it will open up, hopefully a bit of de-restricted Autobahn, while we're still here in Germany. And then we'll head up the usual, or maybe not quite the usual route, because we're not going from the Nürburgring back home. We're heading from Frankfurt area. So I don't know if that means we cut earlier into France, or if it still takes us up to further north in Germany, across Belgium, and then into France. We'll have to see exactly how that's going to go as we make a little bit more progress on the way. But I tell you what, visiting the Saugmotoren garage, it's actually quite fun thinking now what we've done with the museum, having been there, as I said, just over 2 years ago. A few new cars in the collection, but the layout, the diagonal parking, squeezing some cars in, using the space, having the mezzanine up above, just the general feel, turning the warehouse into a private garage. And they've got some big ideas for what they're doing. And probably the coolest car that they have is not there right now. And I'm going to try and come back over and film a video with it because it's so infinitely amazing. Hard to explain too much about that. But yeah, for the time being, let's cruise on, see where the roads take us, have a nice, easy, leisurely drive from here, and hopefully we'll make it back in good time without falling asleep on the way to the UK after only about 4.5 hours on the plane last night, but with time zones obviously jumping 9 hours forward in the process. This is a mad journey, to be honest. When the road goes de-restricted, you pop it into manual, start dropping some gears like that, and then put down. Madness. The sound in here is just madness. 250 kilometers an hour, 155 miles per hour. And then the downshifts. Is this not the greatest sound ever? 6.2 litre V8. Waiting for the truck in front of us to pull in, and as soon as he does, that'll be the cue to go, 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 and enjoy the thunderous roar. It's like a patient waiting game. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. There we go. Oh wow, that overrun sound. Downshift under the bridge. Third gear. This car is so cool. It's so cool. And it's so ridiculous that you can go 270 kilometers an hour when safe to do so, of course. While we're sitting in a bit of traffic with our fully loaded up car, let's talk a little bit more about road trips in dream cars and how you could win your dream car with BOTB. Now, BOTB have been around for over 20 years now. They've actually given away over £50 million worth of prizes in total. And I've actually met quite a few of the winners and been to some of the winners' surprises myself. And it is so fun to see that reaction. They have over 10 different Mercedes models available in the Dream Car competition, where you could also win £50,000 of cash in the boot. Tickets start at just 90 pence. What are you waiting for? Check out botb.com now, and you could be the next winner of a dream car. Now, the other really cool thing about today, which I have no idea why I haven't mentioned yet, I probably haven't quite realised it's actually happening, is that we're heading home for a quick turnaround to then go to Denmark to collect the Zenvo. Yes, the TSR-S, my 1,360 horsepower Danish hypercar, is finally ready for my official collection day. I actually have just clocked this, and I'm unbelievably excited about it. I drove the blue TSR-S out in Carmel to go to Exotics on Broadway. That was so crazy. The thing is just wild beyond words. It's not a car to do a trip like this in, but for an event, for an experience, it's going to be unreal. And we've got some big plans, because I'm going to be going straight with it from Denmark, well, on collection day, to go and take it into Copenhagen, because I know there are many of you guys in Denmark who would love to see it. So it's going to be really fun to have that car in Copenhagen city centre. But then it's going to be going immediately from there to Croatia, to Zagreb, for Supercar Owners Circle. I'm taking the Zenvo TSR-S to SOC in Croatia for its first outing. This is boggling my mind just a little bit. Then from there, it will go around Europe, a few different places, a few different stops. I'm not going to be doing silly miles like I do with this. I mean, this car, in fact, look, we're on 34,991 kilometers. So just shy of 35,000 kilometers. And then, by the time we get home later, it'll be 35,750, which is roughly 22,000 miles. This car will have 22,000 miles on it. I'm not going to be doing that in the Zenvo, but anyway, TSR-S Collection Day is coming up next. This is basically the journey home for the Zenvo next. This is the journey home. The video before, I think we could say. I don't think there's going to be a video in the meantime. Before collecting the TSR-S. Collecting it, being in Copenhagen with it, and then immediately embarking on this journey to Croatia, to SOC, to convoys, to mountain roads, to, I think, a runway session, to who knows what else. Oh my goodness. This is actually coming right up. That's a little bit mad. Well, for the time being, we're actually shaving some decent time off, which is great. It's a lovely day, and I'm hoping we're going to be in luck with clear skies, good weather, no traffic, all the way through from here to the Eurotunnel. Basically a blast back. I'm not sure if we'll go straight home or to the museum. That's a decision for a little bit later. We'll see which way we go. But to have been on the road around Europe, I mean, we only departed the UK something like 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, Huayra BC on track, around to Italy, AMG 1 at the Nürburgring as well, all of the stuff during Car Week, now back here, visit to Saugmotoren's garage, now the long journey home. This is like ultimate cool road trip, knowing what's coming up next, knowing that it's immediately going to be another road trip straight after this one, just to complete what has been the most ridiculous month. Just quick summary, this month started with the Huayra R at Spa, unreal. The Apollo IE with Mike at Spa, also unreal. In the same month has included driving Mike's Huayra BC on the Nordschleife, and then the AMG 1 at the Nürburgring GP, this car on the Nordschleife, road trip with this car, Car Week, and now heading to Denmark as well, before the month is out for collection of the TSR-S. I don't think I'll ever have a better August than this one. I don't think it is possible to have a better August than this one. So thank you to everyone involved in this. Completely mad, completely mad. But for now, let's keep on rolling and we'll make our way towards the Eurotunnel. We're back on de-restricted Autobahn, which means back, wow, that's quite a view, isn't it? Down through the valley. Goodness me. Well, we're easily going very, very quickly right now. 285 kilometers an hour and onto the brakes. If you're wondering how to keep your energy levels and adrenaline up after a very long plane flight, that's one way to go about it. And then those downshifts are the second way to go about it. It's just a bit mad in this car. I love how it's fairly usable. I mean, we've squeezed a lot of stuff in here. Admittedly, it's not exactly the best kind of packaging, but we've got a lot of stuff in here, and we've done a lot of miles with it. You're on the same trip. We went to the Swatch drive-through in Switzerland, and so many other places. And then you can enjoy this. And it's so planted, just enough downforce, obviously, stuck even going through a corner at 160 miles an hour or so. Which is the mad thing about it. Confidently, comfortably. every time you get back on the power and hear that sound, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. You know what? I don't mind braking for other cars because it means I get to do that again. I've never done an actual VMAX run with this car just to see, you know, what it will top out at. But I don't think you really need to. I think just this constant glorious sound of 8,000 RPM of naturally aspirated V8 is so wonderful that, yeah, you won't see me complaining in a hurry. Perfectly smooth tarmac, a beautiful day, clear skies, and thankfully quite clear roads. Well, this is ridiculous. We're about to be 300 kilometers an hour. There we go, 308, and I'm going to go on the brakes. We've got some trucks ahead of us. 308 kilometers per hour, 191 miles per hour, the best part of 200 miles an hour on the way home. All in a commute, hey, when you're in a beast like this. Madness. This car is just crazy. Up to the red line, shift the gears, 7-speed dual clutch. I mean, look at this. I can only imagine what it's like to listen to this going past. It must sound glorious. It's the kind of thing I would love, but probably some people might think it's a bit obnoxious. Back on throttle. It's so silly, but I love it. Drop the gears, opens up again. Just the right amount of kick on the shifts, just the right amount to feel dramatic without being too uncomfortable. Some cars, like some M cars for example, you get in and they shift in this really weird way. Some cars are just too clinical in the way they shift. This is like a resounding thud, especially with the soundtrack that just says that the car means business. It absolutely means business. It's ready to rock and roll. It's ready to put that power down. It's ready to be enjoyed, it's ready to scream, and that is exactly what it does. I'm going to drop down to third gear probably here. Man. Obviously you have to drive to the conditions where you can see, so around a left-hand bend or something. Obviously you need to be respectful to other road users. One thing you see a lot of here is people kind of flashing and indicating and stuff like that, which obviously is not appropriate. But when it's a clear run and you can put your foot down, you can make some good progress and just enjoy the car, enjoy the drive, have fun. Whew. Well, the Autobahn has been a whole lot of fun, but we are actually now arriving at the border to Belgium, I believe. And I think geographically where we are at the moment means we're going to be going past Spa. We're going to be driving past the area of Malmedy and Stavelot and everything around Spa-Francorchamps, which is kind of fun. Just when you do these travels and the places you end up. Yes, here we go, Belgium. That is the entry to Belgium sign. Across the bridge. Stunning views. I don't think I've driven much of that road behind us before. I've done this crossing before, for sure. But I love that I'm still doing tours around Europe and finding new places and new things and, I don't know, exploring. And enjoying it a lot in this car. We are going past Spa. I can actually just catch a glimpse of the circuit there. Obviously it's all signed and everything at the moment because we're literally driving by on F1 Grand Prix weekend, coincidentally. I didn't even think about that in advance at all, which just makes it a little bit more exciting, I guess. So there could even be F1 cars on track right now because there are helicopters up in the air. Fun coincidence. Fast forward a fair bit, because to be honest, not all that much has happened until now. As that recovery truck tries to make its way through this traffic jam. Driving in Belgium, pretty plain sailing, the usual little bits of traffic here and there. We crossed into France probably an hour, bit over an hour ago, and until now it has been completely just smooth sailing. On the last 14 kilometers from the Eurotunnel, there's clearly an accident ahead. Don't really know. We had a traffic management truck go through, and now we've had a breakdown truck go through, so who knows exactly what's happened. Anyway, we're a couple of hours ahead of our booked crossing. We're actually going to arrive here about 2 hours before the booked crossing this evening, which is some amazing progress. You need to be here half an hour to 45 minutes before for a flexi crossing, except there are loads and loads and loads of UK plates. Loads of UK plates, which I presume means that customs and immigration and all that is going to take a lot longer than usual. We'll see if that's the case. Otherwise, we've only got 10 minutes or so to go, and then we'll be pulling up at the Flexi Plus Lounge and getting ready for the crossing over this evening. It's quite nice to be super chill for once, to be honest. We're way ahead of schedule. It's quite a pleasant evening, and the journey's going well with this. The SLS has actually crossed the tunnel, is it 3 times now, maybe 4 times? Certainly back when it was brand new, then Black Series Tour, and then this trip. I think this has been the 3rd overall trip with it, and it will be over 22,000 miles when we get back, picking up some leaves and things in the process. It's going to need a proper clean. One of the downsides of doing a long road trip is you get splattered with bugs. You can't really see them unless you're looking closely, but you need to get them off of the PPF, although I think we're going to redo the PPF at the front. The paintwork is obviously perfect underneath, and that's one of the beauties of PPF. You can just kind of change it and then it looks completely brand new again. And it's always fun to actually do that. But yeah, successful journey so far. Grabbed some snacks from the Flexi Plus Lounge and ready to go board the train, I guess, in our own time. Technically, I missed out of that, the fact that I bought this car in Germany. So it came over from Germany, then I did a big extended trip with it, then we did Black Series Tour, and then we've done this trip. So it's kind of done 3.5 crossings, 4 crossings. I wonder if it ever came to the UK before that. Anyway, let's go. We have too little space in here for anything. I've got my bag of goodies wedged in as we're about to board the train, behind an army of SUVs with roof boxes. They must have so much stuff in them once you've got the car full, plus a roof box on top. Whereas we kind of just wedge it all in for a couple of weeks on the road. But this is very, very familiar as we go through here, and we shall emerge shortly out the other side after the 35-minute crossing under the channel. We're in London. It's pretty dark, but we've got the Tower of London alongside. We've got the Shard up there, nice clear skies, and we've got 20 miles per hour speed limits to take it easy little drive in from here. Always a bit of sightseeing on the way into town. Little bit of London car spotting, Hurricane, Spider. There was an SVJ a moment ago, but that's off camera. Sorry about that. A whole 26.25 hours after we checked out of our hotel in Los Angeles yesterday morning, we're now parked up with the SLS. What a journey that has been. In fact, what a road trip it's been with this car. It's a huge thanks to Saugmotoren for looking after it while I was over at Car Week and doing all of that stuff. But driving another, I guess it's been 500 or so miles in the car today, absolutely fantastic. It really is one of my favorite cars in the world. I talked about that endlessly before buying it. Now that I've continued driving it, and we are about 22,200 miles on the clock now, it's just great every single time. There are a few things to get looked at. I mentioned that. I also want to change the plastic pieces underneath the splitter again. We've already got those. Those are waiting with Avantgarde to get installed. But when it comes to dream cars, if you want to win your dream car, botb.com. Info is down below if you'd like to find out more about how you could be the next lucky winner of the dream car competition, or some of the other prizes that they have available as well. Today, I think I should probably wrap it up. Get the car unloaded, go have a really, really, really long rest, because it is certainly needed, especially to get prepared for what's happening next. As I said, it's time for the Zenvo. It is time for the TSR-S. It is time to share this with you. It is time for the excitement to explode. Believe me, I can't wait for this one. But that's it for this time. That's it for the end of today's adventure. The road trip journey home from Saugmotoren in Germany, back here to park up for the night. Yeah, I'm done. I'm tired. Thank you very much for watching as always, guys. Thank you for your support an awful lot. That's it for this time though. I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.